Hello.
Hi Lydia, how are you?
I'm good. How are you keeping?
Well, I'm very well, thank you. Very good, very good. I can't complain. I can't complain. I'm live and well. Everyone I love and care about, they're staying safe. Fingers crossed that I stay the same. So yeah, I can't grumble. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just trying to keep busy, Anthony. Just doing these lives. Obviously, there's been no event, so big change in kind of how I
Hmm.
work and stuff. But just I think trying to keep busy, trying to keep to a schedule every day, and it's
Yeah,
good. It's
I
not
think
so
that
bad.
yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, like routines are so important. Like and obviously, ideally, a positive routine, but the best way to get through difficult situations, no matter what it is or who you are, is setting routines and having something each day to do. When you know at 12 o'clock you do this and 2 o'clock you do this, and as long as you kind of do that before you know it, it's 8 p.m. Time to wind down to go to bed or the next day. So yeah, I think it's important to kind of get into routines in situations like this and make the most of every single day. Because
Absolutely.
it's a really horrible situation we find ourselves in, and it really is horrible. And my heart goes out to everybody around the world that have lost somebody, a mum, a dad, an uncle, and aunt, a granddad. But I think
Hmm.
I'm quite a positive person, and I always try to like choose to look on the positive side of things. And this is a massive opportunity for everybody to kind of just take stock and stop and kind of reassess their lives and we're never going to be asked to stay at home ever again for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. So whilst we are staying at home, it's important to do the things that we don't normally get the chance to do. And yeah, I think it's just the best way of kind of making the best case of a real bad situation.
Absolutely. Well, key word that you touched on there is positivity, and it has to be said, for anyone that knows anything to do with you as a boxer, as a wrestler now, as a media personality. One thing that's always come true is your positivity and your mindset. Is it really important for you to push that and to make sure that people know that that's your character?
Not really. I mean, I think people. It's no, not really. It's just me. I mean, it's not. It's not an act. It's not a front. I'm not trying to portray something that I'm not. I'm just me. I like. And I think if you live your life the best way you can, because nobody can be Anthony Ogogo, nobody can be Lydia as best as you, because you are you, and me because I am me. So as long as
Mm-hmm.
I am just me, and I keep doing like being me and doing what I do, I don't really care what people think about me. Of course, I'd rather people like me, but if I don't, if they don't like me and I'm just being me and I'm being authentic, then I couldn't really care less because if they don't like me being me, then I don't really want them to like me anyway. So I just think for
Mm-hmm.
me, it works for me. Me being positive works for me. I'm a massive optimist. I always think, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day, and a lot of the time they aren't. But I think the trick is not losing that enthusiasm that the next day will be a better day because one day it will be a better day and that day can open so many doors for you. But if you don't knock on that door, I'm using loads of like silly cliches now, but if you don't knock on that door, if you lose the enthusiasm knocking on the door's never going to open. So keep getting up each day, keep knocking on certain doors, and eventually one door will open for you, and that door could change your life. And yeah, that's my kind of philosophy, not really a philosophy, 'cause I've never said it before, but that's how I kind of live my life.
Did that mindset, is that something that was instilled at you from a young age, we'll say with your parents or the environment that you were in, or is that something that came with being a professional athlete?
Oh, good question. I've never really taken stock and evaluated it. It's just, really good question, Lydia. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where it came from. Like, we grew up like quite tough growing up. Mum, single parent, and there's 5 kids. I've got 4 sisters, and now life is tough growing up. But it was tough. Like looking back now, it was tough, and at the time it was tough. But when you're a kid, you're a kid. Like you don't know any better, and like
Mm.
whatever life you were kind of born into, that's just life. I didn't look around and go,
Yes.
"Oh, we haven't got much," because it's all I knew. It's not until I've kind of I've grown up and I've seen and I've been privy to more stuff through my experiences that I look back and go, wow, times were tough. And how did my mum manage to cope raising 5 kids on her own, working as well? It's just ridiculous. But yeah, I think I've always, I guess, I don't know. I don't know where it's come from. I really don't know. But I've always, as I said, I always believe the next day is going to be a great day. And yeah, like when I'm sure we'll get onto it like later on, but my boxing career ended because of an eye injury, which was which was catastrophic, and it was managed catastrophically. Like the injury I had was a bad injury, but it shouldn't have ended my boxing career. It was mismanaged. I had the wrong advice by the top consultants in the world. I had the wrong operation, and I never eventually got back. But I had 9 surgeries, and every surgery I went into every surgery thinking this is going to be the one to get me back in the ring. Like after this one, I'll be back boxing. And unfortunately, like it's tough because obviously it wasn't, and each one was a massive kick in the gut because I genuinely thought that this is going to be the one. I'm going to be back boxing soon, and I wasn't. So it was a massive kick in the nuts each time. So I guess if people are really pessimistic, I guess they try to protect something. But there is one way of living, I suppose, and it might work for some people. But I always choose to believe that something great is around the corner. And if it doesn't end up like that, it's then my job to go out there and make something great of whatever situation I'm in. Just the way I chose to live my life, I guess.
Absolutely. And I think you touch on the eye injury, and it's well documented of everything that you went through. And one thing that was so touching around that time where you had announced your retirement was the openness and honesty in all the media that you'd done, and that you really weren't afraid to say how it was, and to also say about how you were so devastated about it, or a lot of people would just choose to put out the press release, put out that you're retiring, and they just fade into the distance and hope that no one ever asks them about it again. Was it important to you to be open and honest and to show your true self in that time?
I think so, yeah, it was. And the fact it's Mental Health Awareness Week now, and it's really important for me to kind of be honest because for a couple of reasons. One, for me to be authentic. A lot of my boxing, all of my boxing career, I was me. So I've never lied and pretended to be something that I'm not. But a lot of my boxing career, I always had injuries and had stuff going on. I mean, I was injured a lot of my career, and I was the most heavily sponsored athlete by like top brands in the boxer in the world: Nike, Maxi Muscle, I'm like Coca-Cola, like loads of different sponsors. And for a long time in my boxing career, they were paying my wage, paying my mortgage because as you know, if you're a boxer and if you can't fight, you can't get paid. You don't get paid. And I didn't sign an Anthony Joshua professional contract. I wasn't a millionaire overnight, nowhere near. And I had to fight to get paid, and I wasn't getting paid. And I had to kind of be not a puppet. That's far too extreme, but I was very mindful of what I said and how I acted and how I portrayed myself in the media, because I was very aware that if I lost my Subway contract or my Nike contract, I've got to sell my house because money wasn't coming in. So I wasn't as colourful as a sports personality that I naturally am. I had to kind of like curb certain things because I couldn't afford to lose my sponsorship deals, like on a financial level. So when it was, it wasn't a conscious decision, but I just decided that for the rest of my career now, whether it's, again, I always thought I was going to get back, but I thought I'm just going to be me now. And when you're Conor McGregor earning mad money, or Mayweather or Pacquiao, you can just be you because you earn so much money. You can just be you, like it or not. People are going to tune into what you fight. But when you're kind of on the ladder climbing up, and you need people to certain people, you need to be an option for brands to sponsor. If you need the money, then you've got to kind of act in a certain way. So that was around that process. I thought if I get back in the ring, which I thought I would, I'm just going to be me, like warts and all. I'm going to be me, a true me. I'm not going to mind what I say. I'm just going to be me. And that was me. I did a couple of videos when I was in Boston. It was just an operation of both my eyes, and I spent loads of money. And that was the 7th surgery. That was the 6th surgery on my eye. And up until that point, I'd done operations on either eye. That eye was both eyes together. It was just horrible, and it's painful. And then I don't know if you've seen some of the footage or not, but when you have the surgery that I had, you have the main surgery when you're asleep. Then they wake you up, and then they continue the surgery whilst you're awake, and they numb your eyes, so they are numb, but I mean it's still painful, it's still horrible. I mean, it's horrible. You're a bit groggy from the surgery, and then the surgeon that did that surgery over in Boston, he's the only surgeon on the planet that adjusts your eyes like straight away, and then you go, and then your eyes change. When you do an operation on your eyes move. So it's not an exact science because you got to kind of do a bit of guesswork. So your eyes kind of move as they heal over that first week. And then he's the only person on the planet that does this. You go back and see him a week later, and then he adjusts your eyes. He reoperates on you in his little doctor's room, whilst you're totally conscious, and you can feel pretty much everything. And again, they put drops in your eyes to numb your eyes. You still feel the pain, and then they adjust your eyes whilst you're awake. They operate on the back of your eyes whilst you're awake, sitting there. Your eyes are cramped open. You can feel everything. You're sweating profusely because it's just the weirdest thing, like somebody poking around the back. It's horrible. And then that lasts about an hour and a half, and it's brutal. And I sat in the hospital in the foyer, in the reception, for 5 hours. I just couldn't move. I was numb with pain, physical pain, emotional pain. It'd been 2.5 years. It'd been 2 years to that point, and it was just I was done. I had nothing left. And then I've done a couple of videos just speaking openly, and I thought, if I wait an hour, I'm not going to send these because the macho boxer is going to kick in. He's going to say no, and I thought I'm just going to do it because people, particularly in our sport, in boxing, it's such a macho sport, and you don't want to show any weakness. And I just thought, I'm just going to post this because this might help one person in the world. And the videos, and I posted them. I turned my phone off. I sat in hospital for 5 hours, as I said, just kind of summoning the strength to get up and just go back to my hotel. And then I went back to the hotel, went to bed, woke up, and I've seen the videos been watched 100,000 times, and they've been retweeted loads. And it was only really then that I felt people kind of not cared, because that's the wrong word, but it was only really then that I feel like people really cared about me, because I've been out of the ring for 2.5 years, and as you know, like if you're out, the world moves on, boxing continues without you, and I felt really just like an idiot on the sideline watching my life go by. And over that period, I really felt support from the boxing kind of fraternity, and when I retired months later, again I felt love for the first time from the boxing fraternity that I never really felt my entire career, which is a shame that I got it at the end of my career, but that's life, and life goes on, as I said.
And again, it's really interesting to hear you talk about it, because I mean, from the standpoint of when we see high level elite boxers or athletes in general, and when their career ends, or when they lose a world title, or they're not at the peak of their career anymore, more often than not, we see them sort of lose the run of themselves in some capacity, whether it's speaking out in media or turning to drink, turning to drugs. Like, I imagine that time you're in such a pressure cooker, there's so much emotion. Why were you not one of those people? Why do you feel that you were the one that kind of said, right, well, this is the cards that I'm after being dealt. Now we move on, and we just move forward and we keep progressing?
I think it's a mentality thing, the way I've been brought up. I mean, I want a big house. I've got a nice little house now. It's a nice little house, and I haven't even got a car at the moment. I share my car with my wife. Like, I'm 31 years old, and I haven't got the life that I thought I'd have by now. I thought I'd be a multi-millionaire. I thought I'd be a world champ many times over, and be in the midst of leaving a legacy in the sport that I love. And that got taken away from me through no fault of my own. I did everything right, and it just wasn't to be for me. And I don't want to give up on that dream. That dream, I come from a very poor background, and it said I grew up poor, and I always dreamt of having a life that I never had as a kid. And I'm not going to get that now in boxing, because I can't box anymore. But I'm still determined to get it. I've got dreams and aspirations, and I want to be somebody that my kids are proud of one day. And I'm sure they're really proud of me of my achievements already. But I want to do what I want to do as a kid. I think when people get older, one of the biggest mistakes we all make as a kid, you have these massive dreams and ambitions. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to become a national or whatever. And then we grow up, and life happens, and then our dreams get smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you start dreaming like, I hope when I go to the shops, my car parking space is free. That's all, and we've all done that. And then And I just think now I don't want to change. Why should my life change because of something that happened wasn't like to me? No. So I want my life. I want what I want, and I'm gonna work, tirelessly to get it. And yeah, I could have easily went down that road. I could have been the guy in the pub in 20 years' time saying, "Oh, no, it should have been me. It could have been me. Callum Smith this, John Ryder that, like Jason Quigley this." But I don't want to be that guy. Like, no one likes that. I used to work in a bar for a little bit, but I got sacked, so I was rubbish. I was the worst barman in the world. And I used to work at the worst barman in the world. And then I was in the bar, and in the afternoon, all the old boys in there drinking their John Smiths at £1.59 a pint, and they'd whinge and sulk. And I was just thinking, when I was like 18 at the time, I was a baby. I was thinking, I never want to be anyone like you, because no one likes that guy.
Yes.
And I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that, yeah, we suffered setbacks, and many of them are out of his control. But he refused to let life dictate to him how he lived his life. Like, he wanted to grab life by the throat and say, "Nah, you're gonna go the way I want you to go." And that's what I'm trying. I don't always win. I don't always succeed. But I think if I have that mentality, at the stage I'm at in my life now, if I have that mentality, in 30 years' time, I can look back and go, "Do you know what, mate? Like, you could have quit then, you could have given up, you could have done something else, but you stuck at it, and I'm proud of you for doing it. Whether I get all the achievements or not, I'll be proud of myself for just having that mindset to go after my dreams, I think."
Absolutely. And obviously one of the main, one of for the fans, I think, boxing fans, one of your biggest achievements is obviously the Olympics, and like what you achieved there and in your amateur career. And obviously with everything that's happening now at the moment, we've seen like the 2020 Olympics have been postponed till next year. And there's a lot of topical conversation about what the guys who, were touted for gold medals, or the guys who were touted as kind of the stars of the Olympics, especially with Team GB. What should they do? And if you can remember back to that time, if you were in a situation like that now where, you're getting postponed and you have another year of training, another year of waiting, what would you have done? Because some people say it's time for some people to turn professional, to like kind of reassess their career. Like, what do you think that you would have done in the circumstances?
Yeah, do you know what? I think I'm the only person on the planet that had our Olympics 2012 been postponed for a year. It would have been the biggest godsend to me, because 2012 for me was the worst year of my life. My mum, again, it's been quite well documented. My mum, who is my hero, she's my mum for Christ's sake, she had a brain aneurysm 6 weeks before the Olympic Games, and for the entire Olympics, she was in a coma, and I had no clue. None of us had any clue if she was going to live or die or not. It was touch and go for months, like touch and go for months. To the point where so I didn't do a thing. I didn't train for 4 weeks before the Olympics. I had one sparring session with Fred Evans before the Olympic Games. I had my mum's next of kin. My phone was in my pocket, because if the hospital called, I had to answer. For the sparring session, the first punch I threw in 4 weeks, I threw a slow sloppy jab. Fred Evans slipped out, boom, body shot, and he broke my rib. And I've got a dislocated shoulder, which I was rehabbing still. I had bad Achilles, which I need 4 surgeries on them, like in my early stages as a pro. I had a broken rib, and I thought I was never going to see my mum again. I thought that was my prep for the Olympics. It was rubbish. It was so bad. So they'd been postponed for a year. My shoulder would have healed, rib would have healed, Achilles would have healed, and I'm really happy to say my mum made a tremendous recovery. She's still recovering now, but she's still alive and well and doing fantastically well. So a year later, she's in a much better position than she was at the Olympics. So for me, winning the medal under all that adversity, like a year later, I'd have won a gold medal 100%. So, everyone don't have the story like I've got, but do you know, I'd urge all the people just to stay for one more year, because I get this, and it's hard to. I sound like an old man now because I'm out of the sport and I've got a bit of perspective because I'm out of the sport enough now. When you're in it, you think, a year is the longest time in the world. I remember in 2010, I joined the Great Britain team, and Robert McCracken is the head coach, and he said, enjoy, and I was 21, 10 years ago. He said, enjoy this time because you're going to blink your eyes and you enjoy this time. You're getting paid money. I was on about £400 a month, £100 a week to be on the Great Britain team. And I thought I'd cracked it since I was poor. He said to me, enjoy this time. You're getting paid money to travel the world and box for your country. This is the best time of your life. Enjoy it now because one day you're going to blink and you're going to be my age. Career's going to be gone and you're going to be 40. And I went, shut up, Rob. And generally, I was like, oh, mate, who's this old geezer doing that spiel? I swear on my life, from that day in January 2010, I've blinked. It's 10 and a half years have gone by and my career's over. And now, when Rob said that, he was 40 years old. I'm now closer to Rob's age than I was my age when he said it. So time goes by so quick. So a year might seem like a long time, but it's nothing. It's nothing. And the way sports science is now, the way athletes train now, a year is nothing. You can carry on. You know, if you live well and don't do a Ricky Hatton in between fights, you can box on to your 40s easily. And when you do start losing a bit of speed or a bit of timing, then what you lose in that, you gain in experience. You gain in boxing IQ just through time, just through doing it. So, you know, yeah, I mean, there is an age limit in boxing. There are times when there is a time when your skills do deteriorate so much that you can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. But if you live well and train well, you can extend that on until later on, you know, to late 30s, early 40s, I believe. No, quite good.
Well, here's a question for you on the back of that. You know, for the guys that do end up turning professional, it's a very small minority that succeeds in the amateur ranks and then go on to have successful professional careers. You're someone, although it was cut very short for you, you're someone that seemed to have mastered both. What do you think is the biggest reason why successful amateurs don't do well at professional?
This is going to sound really hypocritical, but sometimes they can stay amateur a bit too long. So contradicting what I said a minute ago. So sometimes, but saying that boxing, but I wasn't a big fan of amateur boxing changing to no head guards and pro style and scoring rounds because I like amateur boxing. I like pro boxing. I like rugby and I like football. I like the differences. They're kind of merging it too much into one. However, saying that, it's better for the guys that are going to turn pro afterwards because it's more in line now. So the transition from amateur to pro is much easier now than it was when I was doing it. And 4 years before me, James DeGale was boxing 4 2-minute rounds. Darren Sutherland boxing 4 2-minute rounds. So it's very, very different. Why? Maybe, again, it's hard for me to say because I was one of these guys. Maybe if you do well at the Olympic Games, maybe the fame goes to your head. Maybe you struggle. Like I mentioned Darren Sutherland. Darren, I know it's well documented, he struggled with the pressures that comes with it. He struggled with leaving his home and living in London. And it's different. It's amateur boxing is a sport. It's a beautiful sport. The Olympics, anything to do with the Olympic Games, it's a beautiful sport. Professional boxing is a business first, sport second. And it's very, very, very different. And you've obviously got to be good to be successful, but you've also got to sell tickets. Also helps if you're marketable, if you speak well, if you've got a big fan following. So other things takes to be a good pro. Although like I said, ultimately you've got to get in the ring and fight. But if you can sell tickets, if you can marketable, got a big fan base, then you'll get manoeuvred easier than other people. But there's no reason why the top athletes in Britain and in Ireland now, they're trained so well, and elite amateur boxing is so good. A lot of them are better than pros. There's no reason now why they shouldn't kind of transition into becoming top pros. And I think now it is more streamlined, amateur and professional boxing. You'll see less people falling by the wayside. You'll see more elite amateurs being successful in the pro ranks. I do believe because it's just more similar,
What's been the biggest lesson that you've learned in all of this?
The big lesson I've learned, and I think, for me, it's perfect. And it's more of a life lesson than a sport lesson. My lockdown caveman here. Big lesson I've learned, and what I'll tell my younger self, and what I tell people when I ask this question, is simple. Just enjoy the moments. Enjoy the moments along the way. because, and I do a bit of motivational speaking now, and I talk about my stories. I talk quite candidly about them, and I go to football clubs and tell the athletes, tell the footballers. Again, it's really cliche, but it's so true. And it's not until you've lived it that you go, yeah, no, I get it. But play every game, every sparring session, every fight like it's your last, because you never know. One punch in your eye, like me, or one bad tackle, it could well be your last. And enjoy your moments along the way, because remember, my pro debut is a perfect example. Boxed up in Sheffield, 10,000 people. I was chief supporter of Amir Khan and Julio Diaz. It was a great night, knocked the guy out in the second round. And then hundreds of family and friends came up to watch me fight. And then my team secured like a little, in one of the nightclubs, secured like a little bar area. And the big night out afterwards. And I had a fight 3 weeks later. I was making my US debut 3 weeks later in New York, in Atlantic City. And I didn't want to go because I was boxing 3 weeks later. And my missus was like, you got to go because everyone's come up to see you. It's going to be a great night. You haven't got a drink. Just show your face for an hour or two. Then we can come back. And I just didn't want to go. So I was so focused on becoming world champ. I was like, anyway, long story short, I went. I threw my dummy out the pram. I had a big lip on me. I didn't want to be there. And it was miserable. And then people must have thought he's knob, doesn't want to be here. I didn't want to be there. It was just rubbish. I went back. We had a bit of an argument about it. And it was just, it was just rubbish. It wasn't what it was meant to be. So in my head, I was so focused on, I can enjoy my life when I become world champ. Like when I become world champ, I can then look back and enjoy it. I never became world champ. And it's really sad that my pro debut was the best night of my pro career. And I half ignored it because I was so focused on the next step. And the adage is, people, they spend months training for Everest, and they eventually climb Everest, takes them days and weeks to do it. And a lot of them don't really stop and look until they get to the top. At the top, the view's a bit shit because it's all cloudy, can't really see anything. They do all that hard work and they go, oh, is this it? But really, they should work really hard, climb the mountain at a regular interval, stop, turn around, have a look, breathe in, enjoy it, appreciate the view, carry on going. Then when you've done that, you've got all the views along the way rather than just the one at the top. And I didn't do it as much as I should have done it. So I urge everyone just to enjoy it. Even though you might think a pro debut is a small thing and nights are going to get bigger, and most people they will, you never know. You never know. And if it does end, with me 10, 11 fights later, and it's a shame just to kind of, ignore memories which you're never going to get back. So I just try to urge people to it. And that's not just boxing or sport. That's just life, Buying my first house. Again, I was so, it's a trait of me which I've worked hard to change. I so want my mansion, which I haven't got yet, but I so want my big mansion and my Aston Martin, all the fancy stuff in life, that the little house and the little car that I had, which were quite nice, I was like, oh yeah, whatever, it's just a stepping stone. And then I've gone through a couple of houses now, and they're, in their own right, they're lovely houses, and people would love to live in those houses, And I've been ungrateful, without thinking of a better word. I've been ungrateful. I haven't truly appreciated what I've had at the time. And I might never get my mansion. I might never get it. I might never get the Aston Martin. So for the time being, I'm going to enjoy my little house. I'm going to enjoy my wife's little Audi. And, because if this is the best it gets, then I'm very lucky because I could be living in a really poor area like I did when I grew up. And I should appreciate just stuff more, I think. Makes you a nicer person, makes you more humble. So yeah, I think just be appreciative of life, really.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And also, you've got a story. Do you know what I mean? You're like, I'd rather have this amazing life filled with ups and downs and be able to sit and tell someone about like these great adventures you're on than to be sat in an Audi or a big house, even though they're lovely and we all want one. But the journey is what's important, right?
100%. I'll do, as I mentioned, I'll do a bit of motivational speaking, and I always get asked a lot about Joshua and other people as well. And I'm like, look, I went and listen, don't get me wrong, I'd love his bank account. I love the things he's had, but the story, his medals and his belt, that's just his prize. My prize is my story. And I go to schools, talk to the kiddies, talk to businesses and football teams, and I tell them, and it's like, how relatable is it? Then you go, yeah, I started boxing at 20, and then I won the Olympics, and then I won loads of fights, and then I became world champion, and then I won more belts, and then I lost to a fat guy, but then I beat him again, and yeah, that's it. It's like, oh, cool. No, people can't relate to being 6'6" and chisel out of stone and punch really hard. People can't relate to it, but people can relate to, oh, then they got knocked back, then the mum was poorly, or their dad was poorly, and this happened, and they lost their job, and this setback. People can relate to that, and when they see somebody overcome setbacks, they go, wow, if he did all this stuff and he still won a medal in the Olympic Games, then I can definitely get promoted after being sacked or whatever. You know what it is? So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's an amazing story. And ultimately, again, without being too cheesy, too cliche now, but, you know, at the end of your life, when you're lying on your deathbed, what really matters is the people around you. No, it doesn't matter where you are, be around you and the lives that you've touched.
Yes.
And if you can do that by living your best life, by living your best life, if you inspire other people to do theirs, then to do the same, and mate, what a life you've lived, eh? You know, so yeah, that's what I tell myself when I when I ride the bus 'cause I can't afford a car.
No, it's very good. It's very good. I can see why you do well as motivational speaking, 100%.
Thank you.
But finally, before I let you go, Anthony, talk to me about professional wrestling. I'm very
Yeah,
interested.
yeah. So again, going back to what I've said, I mean, I was 30 years old. I was then entering so my last fight, I was 27. So 27 to 30, entering the peak of my life, peak of my athletic performance. Hurt my eye, had the wrong diagnosis, wrong operation. Career ended 2.5 years later after 9 surgeries. Every penny I'd ever earned in boxing spent on operations. Horrible time in my life, really down and sad. And I said to you earlier, like, I didn't want to be that bitter guy in a pub. I didn't want to be that guy. And I had a few offers to do certain things and do a bit of commentating for boxing, a bit of punditry. And that's all well and good. And that's a great profession to do if you can get it. But I didn't want to go to Bethnal Green every other weekend or travel the Britain and the world and watch other people live out my dream. Like watching other people with less ability than me, less determination, less skill, go out there and earn millions of pounds and become world champion, live out my dream, whilst I am getting the bus and getting the tube because I haven't got a car. That's genuine. I'm not doing that. No, I don't want to do it. I want my mansion. I want I want to be successful. I want to achieve the things in this next chapter of my life that I never got to do in boxing for whatever reason. And I thought, what do I actually love? And I've always loved wrestling. And that's when I signed with AEW, when it was announced in October, Cal Yafai, a good friend of mine, texted me straight away saying, mate, so happy for you, knowing some of the setbacks I've suffered. When you've always loved wrestling since we were on the GB squads as 15-year-olds. So I'm so happy that you've got a second chance at a childhood dream. And I really appreciated that. So yeah, I mean, something I've always loved, and I'm far too young. I've got too much fight and drive and passion left in me to stop now. You know, because then potentially I could go down that bitter road, and this passion and drive that I've got could be channeled in the wrong way, and could be, I'm not saying it would have been, but could have been channeled in drugs and alcohol and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm determined to channel it in a positive way. And I've always loved wrestling. It's going to give me performing in front of thousands of people week in, week out. I mean, one of the things that I was annoyed about as a pro fighter, now I was injured quite a lot, which makes it harder. Even without injuries, you fight twice a year, top level, 3 times at like domestic champion level, 4 or 5 times a year on the way up. So that's not many times. And then you fight there, then here, then here, then here. And you know, your fan base does grow. But it's not you don't get that thrill, that exhilaration very often. As an amateur, you box quite a lot. But again, you box in Serbia, you box in the Ukraine, you box wherever. In professional wrestling, you wrestle every single week. Every single week in front of 5, 10, 15,000 people. You get that exhilaration every single week. And that's what people miss. Like, boxers miss it, wrestlers miss it when they retire from their craft, they miss it. So I'm going to have that week in, week out. So I'm going to get that thrill you get when you walk to the ring on fight night when you're wrestling. I'm going to get that weekly. And although had boxing went well for me, I would have retired at 36, 37, still a young man, in the grand scheme of life, and there's still things I wanted to do. And one of the things I wanted to do is do some TV work, do some acting and some film stuff. Now, what wrestling does for me, it combines two things I love: combat sports and acting, which essentially that's what it is. Combine them together, you get professional wrestling. So for me, it's a perfect thing for me to do right now, and hopefully, again, in 10, 15 years' time, it'll open doors for me to become The Rock. So
Yeah.
that's basically, in a nutshell, I want to be The Rock.
Well, it's not a bad aspiration in terms of what he's achieved either, right?
Exactly.
So obviously with everything that's going on, all events, we're up in the air with everything, but is there a schedule? Will we see you out again this year? Is it next year? Like, what will happen?
Fingers crossed. I hope so. I mean, we just don't know, do we? Everything's stuck. So when I can fly, so my luck kind of carried me on from boxing to wrestling, but it took me seven months to get my US visa because of Trump and just how things are. I eventually got my visa. I got to the US. I was there for 3 weeks, and then coronavirus pandemic had happened, and then I had to come home. So I didn't have to come home, but I knew I was going to get stuck over there or over here.
Yeah.
I'd rather get stuck here with my wife than over there on my own. So I came home, and I'm here now into the foreseeable. So fingers crossed, I can get back over to the US relatively soon, start training. So I've got to learn how to wrestle first things first. And then, hopefully before the end of I was meant to make my debut like now. AEW, we've got our big show on Saturday. So it's our WrestleMania, our big show called Double or Nothing. On Saturday night, I know, it's been great to make my debut there. Mike Tyson's actually there. Mike Tyson's there instead of me. He presented one of the belts to the winners of this match. But I was meant to be making my debut roundabout now, which is really frustrating, the fact that I'm not. But, life happens. You got to get on with it. You got to roll with the punches and make the best of it. So I'm here. I'm working hard on my physical training, my fitness. So when I do make my debut, fingers crossed at the back end of the year, I'll be bigger, better, stronger, faster than I would have been had I made my debut now. And I can see me doing this for the next 10 years. And I think that'll be arrogant. I think I'll be quite good because, well, I mentioned earlier at the top of the conversation that I wasn't as colourful as I really am as a person because I felt restrained by my sponsorship deals. Professional wrestling, the characters are so colourful. They're larger than life. They're big. They're expressive, and that's me. That's me naturally. So I think it will suit me really, really well, and we'll see where we go from there. But fingers crossed. By the end of the year, I'll be wrestling on ITV in the UK, on TNT in America every Wednesday night, on AEW Dynamite, and hopefully, doing big shows and winning the belts that I never won as a pro boxer. So fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
I can have the life I wanted as a wrestler. So that's the plan. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, we look forward to seeing you on there. But while we were talking, everyone has an opportunity to leave in a question in the question box if they want to ask you. So I'm just going to have a look and see what the questions are, and we'll see.
By the way, before you ask any questions, I was going to say I've really enjoyed this chat, Lydia. I really have.
Thank you very much.
You've asked some really, really good questions. I thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you. And just keep up your amazing work. I haven't actually, I'll be very honest, I haven't actually seen your stuff before, but from now on, I'll keep an eye out for you, and then I'll carry on following you on the gram, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavours as well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're very kind. Let's have a look. So there's loads of people saying, really talking about your amateur career, professional career, great fighter, so was in some great fights. Sorry to see you leave. There's loads of comments about the wrestling. Really excited to see what you do next. So Connor has asked, what convinced you to start in boxing, and what would you recommend to me as someone who's just started in boxing?
Oh, nice. What's that? I was always quite good. I mean, there's a million things I'm not very good at. I was always good at sports, and I played football to a good level, and I swam to a high level. And I started boxing when I was 12, and it sounds really silly, but like I've got 4 sisters, so we couldn't fight at home because I was the boy, and I'd probably win because I was the boy. But so I got told off for punching my sisters, like any 7-year-old does, 8-year-old does. Then all of a sudden, I'm now going to boxing training, and I'm punching people, and rather than getting told off, I'm getting praised. I'm like, this is brilliant. And also, and on top of that, it's like I play football and I play other team sports, and whenever we lost or whenever we conceded a goal, always seemed to hurt me more. Like it hurt me more than the left back or the goalkeeper. And in one match, we were winning 3-0. Last 3 minutes, the other team scored. We won 3-1. But when they scored, I had the right hump, and I was only a kid, and I was shouting and swearing at the team. And the manager said to me, "Andy, calm down. We're still winning." And I thought, hang on, I want to win more than you want to win. Like I want to keep a clean sheet more than you, and you're the manager. And it just proved to me that I was always more suited to individual sport, because in boxing, win, lose or draw, it's down to you. And if you lose, no problem. You just got to work hard in the gym and get better. So next time you beat the guy or girl. So yeah, I was always more suited to individual sport. What advice I can give? Similar to what I gave earlier, really, about enjoying it. Like just make sure you enjoy it. Like not everyone's going to go to the Olympics, and everyone's going to turn pro or win a world title, but enjoy it. Enjoy it as much as you can, because if you enjoy doing something, win, lose or draw, you're living a better life than most people, because unfortunately most people don't do something that they enjoy. They do it because they've got to pay bills and got to pay a mortgage. So just enjoy what you're doing. Hopefully that enjoyment factor will take you to a level where you didn't even think you could get to.
Well, that leads me on to a good question that came in here from Stephen, and he says, did you ever experience nerves in the lead up to fights, and how did you overcome them? I find it very difficult to settle my nerves in the lead up to a fight. And he just has amateur boxing in brackets, so obviously a young amateur.
Yeah, good question. I did, but I always thought I was really excited. Remember Martin J. Ward, real good fighter. We'd box together in the amateurs and in the pros, and he really got nervous. Really, I guess he still does. But I haven't seen him for a few years. He might have curved it, but back then he really got nervous. I was standing there and think, why do you box? Like if you get this nervous, if you hate this feeling so much, why do you do it? But for me, I love the feeling. Like, yeah, I got a bit nervous, but I was excited more than nervous. I was excited because the way I always looked at it and the way my mentality worked was the training. That was the shit bit. The waking up early in the morning, that's the hard bit. That's the rubbish bit. The dieting, that's the rubbish bit. The sparring, although it's quite tough sometimes, that's the sparring guys that are bigger than you, heavier than you, punch harder than you. That's hard. The boxing's the fun bit. That's when you get to show everybody how good you are. That's when you get to box on TV or box with your friends and family. That's the show-off time. That's the good bit. So that's the bit you should enjoy the most. That's what you're doing it for. So I always relied on my training, and I only ever got nervous. And this rarely happened, but I only ever got nervous if I knew my training camp wasn't very good. For maybe I had a bit of a niggle or a bit of an injury or something weren't quite right, and I went through the fight anyway. Luckily, all those fights I always won them. But I only ever got nervous. So I think, maybe I could have trained harder there or could have done that differently. But when I trained as hard as I could, and I dieted well and I slept well, I was always super confident, because I knew I was walking to the ring, and for 9 minutes as an amateur or for 36 as a professional, all I was going to do is what I do every single day. It's not like I was going to get asked to go and rob a bank or go and sneak into the Taliban and apprehend somebody. Then I'd be nervous. I don't know how to do that, but I'm being asked to box somebody, which I do every day. So if you look at it that way, it's just easier to understand that all you're doing is what you like to do anyway. So just relax and enjoy it. It's like life is far too short, and careers are far too short not to enjoy the moments. And being nervous before a fight is it's a privilege. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It means you're good enough to be a boxer. It means you're good enough to step in the ring, and people believe in you enough to let you step in the ring. So just enjoy that.
Great advice. I want to go have a fight now. Let's just take one more before we go. So Jay Homer has asked, great interview. Worst part of boxing the worst part of boxing that you didn't like apart from losing? Yeah,
good question. For me, it was injuries. Injuries ended my career. Even before it ended my career, it hampered my career and put me back, a lot of setbacks, and I had to watch people, friends, colleagues to a degree, people in my weight category, go out there and boxing, and boxing moves on. Boxing goes on. The world still spins, and you're on the outside. And the sad thing about boxing, I've got friends that are footballers, and You know, they go to their clubs every single day and they're injured, but they've got a team physio, a team doctor, other guys on the injured list, and they're together. Boxing, you're so on your own. You're so on your own, and you feel lonely a lot of the time, and that's what mentally messes people up because you feel lonely, and it's just not a nice place to be. So that's the hardest part of boxing. I think just sports in general. Our boxing specific answer would be the dieting. The dieting was rubbish, but again, it's something you have to do. So don't sulk about it. Just do it. If you whinge about it, move up in weight. Do a different weight category, but just get on with it. It's annoying me. People going, "Oh, I'm dead at the weight. I'm dead at the weight." But no one's got a gun to your head saying you've got to make 11 stone 6 or you've got to make super bantamweight. No one has. Move up in weight. Stop whinging about it, or just do it and shut up. People who whinge annoy me because no one's making you do it. So yeah, but yeah, the dieting was tough. But again, it's something you've got to do. It's part of being a boxer. Being a boxer is more than just a job or a sport. It's a lifestyle. And for the 10, 12 years you're a boxer, give it your all, because if you give it your all and you're successful, whether you win loads of money or you don't, you can look back. You've got a long life left to live after boxing. You know, if you have a great career and retire at 37, then you're still a relatively young man if you're going to live till you're 80. You know, so there's, like Muhammad Ali said, he hated every minute of training, but he thought, suffer now and live the rest of your life a champion. Like, I was just going to do a really bad analogy of saying that. That says it. That says it all. Just work hard. Work hard, because one day you'll be long retired, and when you're retired, like now, I wish I'd go, oh, I'd love to fight somebody now, again in the ring. I'd love to, but you can't. So whilst you can do it, just enjoy it, really.
Absolutely. Great voice again. Right, very, very last question, and then I'm going to let you go. Karen has asked, if you had to quarantine with 5 people, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Wow. Great question. Great quarantine. God. Do you know what? I mean, that's a really hard question. The old, like, who'd you have for a dinner party kind of question. That's a hard one, because it's like, what do you want? Because, like, I'd want people interested. I'd want people that have, like, lived. Someone, sorry, no, this is gonna be a headline. Ogogo wants Hitler. Ogogo doesn't want Hitler. I don't want Hitler. But imagine having dinner with Hitler. Obviously, one of the nastiest, most evil people ever to live. Imagine having dinner with him and saying, Adolf, why'd you do it? Like, why'd you dislike Jews? Like, just why? You know, that's going to be a really, like, eye-opening conversation.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'd rather talk to somebody like that than Mayweather. Listen, Mayweather is one of the greatest fighters in history. But I just think he's a bit boring. Like, he flashes the money, and that's his gimmick, that's his thing. But beyond that, what are you? Like, what? I mean, other than the greatest fighter, one of them ever, but beyond that, as a person, what are you? So it's a really tough question. Muhammad Ali, 100%. Not just because of what he did in the ring, but I'd love to talk to him about, again, his setbacks. And what I love about Muhammad Ali, he refused to fight. Like, he refused to fight in Vietnam, and the American government shipped him the world boxing title. How's that fair? You're a world champion, and the government can strip you. That's not fair. And not fighting for 3 years and being skint. I mean, he must have fought, and he lost his 3 best years. Like, when he fought Cleveland Williams, one of his last fights before he went out, he was unbelievable. Then he came back 3 years later, but lost a bit of speed, lost a step, and he still had an amazing career. So I love talking about how low he went, because he must have went to some daft places, you know. A couple of women in there, you know, just for you know, I'm a feminist, you know. A couple of women in there. Beyonce's a cool woman. I love to speak to Beyonce. I think she, again, like, you know, she grew up in Texas. Really racist down there, some places, and yeah, like, people that have suffered setbacks basically, and like how they've overcome it. I love Winston Churchill as well. Again, like, some people love him, some people hate him. Some of his beliefs. Again, just to speak, like, how did you feel when you were, like, fighting Germany in World War II, and it was just Britain against the might of Germany? Like, how did you, you know, and you've got to kind of keep the spirit of the nation up. Wow, like him or not, and believe some of his things or not. Like, how did you kind of the stuff you must have felt. And Gandhi, love the bit of Gandhi. Again, I'm going too much now.
That's an amazing 5. That's
yeah,
the most impressive
that's right.
5 that I've been brought up on these interviews yet.
So yeah, but yeah, and they'll be like to me, I'm like, so who are you? Like, what did you ever do? It's my party, so shut up. So yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. That was great.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And Lydia, if you can save this video and if you post it, I'll send it to me if you can. I'll post it as well. So I've really enjoyed this chat. So
brilliant.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going to save it as an IGTV and then it'll be on YouTube from tomorrow.
Oh, perfect. Sweet.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Have a great evening.
You. Take care. Stay safe during quarantine.
Bye, Anthony. See you later.
Speak to you again soon.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.